many of us, man, you know, who grew up, you know, in the gang banging culture, create the havoc in our communities. You know, we caused a lot of the pain to a lot of the, you know, the black mothers, and you know, and creating havoc in our communities in all kind of ways. We grow up, many of us, those that are blessed to live through it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we mature, and we move on, and we build lives, some of us hopefully productive lives. And for some reason, a lot of us feel like, you know, we don't have any responsibility,
right,
or you know, to the generation who took on the legacy, the deadly, you know.
How do we become so apathetic? Well, not us, but people that was a part of that, part of the tribalism.
Right.
That actually a lot of them that I mean, I'm talking about they went hard in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But now they pretend like
we have to accept responsibility that we left a deadly legacy. We left a deadly, you know, legacy of genocide. You know, we did the Ku Klux Klan a favor. You know what I mean?
explain that.
The Ku Klux Klan and the terror that they, you know, inflicted on the black community don't really have nothing on the terror we inflicted on ourselves, man, in the name of blood and cuz. You understand? You know, it's genocide, and until we can mature, those of us that are older, until we can mature to a point where we can call it what it is and stop glorifying it. You understand? Stop. I mean, no disrespect, because I got day ones, man, and homies, brothers that I still love and I still keep in touch with, and I honor those relationships, you know, because we family for life. You know, but that does not dismiss the fact, you know, that we left a deadly legacy of genocide, man, and that's still having an effect on our communities, man. We had no idea. We're a little bit older than you, so I love listening to you tell the story of how, you know, gangs transformed and, you know, came up in the valley, because by then, say in 77, 78, we was in high school.
right.
You know what I mean? And we were probably at the, you know, the like the peak of our warring and gunplay. You know what I mean? This and that, because, you know, I don't know if you know, but me and Melly, you know, were the opposing tribes.
Yeah.
You know, like right across Santa Fe, man.
But we had a big homie in common,
Yeah.
which was bartending.
Right. I grew up right next door to Boston.
Right.
Well, I came when I moved to Compton. You know what I mean? You know, and I've told the story before. You know, I came from the Pueblos.
Right.
You know, and I happened to move on the street in Compton that technically, the way that the gang divides, that was technically Crip neighborhood. You know what I mean? But it you know, that was what right then they was what they call Oaks Park Crip. You know what I mean?
In other words, you could have been either or.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But I came from the Pueblos,
Right.
which was a blood cult. You know what I mean? And back in our day, you know, you was like the lowest of the low. You could never, if you got down, you know, with blood, man, you can't never get down with Crip, or you will never get the same measure of respect.
Right.
You almost, it's almost like being labeled a snitch.
You was outcast.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh man, that's what it felt like. You know, during the time, man.
Yeah.
That was a whole other thing, man. But just to say, go back and reiterate what you was talking about as far as the youth and our responsibility in it.
Right.
One, to Mel's question, I don't think it's a matter of, with some, not on the general scale of apathy. I don't think apathy is the problem. I think trauma is the problem.
Okay.
A lot of brothers, you know, are still going through traumas. And we've never been able to deal with those traumas. Just like a lot of brothers that come back from the Vietnam War.
Right.
We look at them and we say, oh, that brother's kind of messed up, man. He was in the war.
He got PTSD.
But, yeah, he had post-traumatic stress. But we say that as if we don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We say that as if, you know, you watching somebody get his head blown off didn't affect you.
Right, went through years and it was gunplay on site.
On site. So
you know what I mean?
About,
yeah.
You remember the feeling after the gunfight? See, we talk about the gunfight, but you don't talk about the shaking, the hand shaking after the gunfight. You don't talk about, you know, how
because you think that might make you feel weak.
You know, you talk about
build yourself up like
man,
this big fearless gangster.
Man, look, man, you ain't talking about the sleepless night. You know what I'm saying? That you keep seeing it over and over in your head
because it plays in your consciousness.
Because it's playing it. They don't talk about
what happens is what did I do wrong? What did I do right? Did I do? Are they going? Or are they going to catch me or you know?
Man,
so
even beyond the catch me, I'm talking about the reality of the act itself.
Yes.
As children, man, we don't even understand life yet.
It's
you know what I'm saying? We haven't even. You got to think. By the time you're 10 years old, man, you're just now understanding the things that's around you.
Right.
You know, when the time you're 15 years old, that means you've only had 5 years of social observation.
Right.
That means, man, you are so underdeveloped. Your mind is not ready to deal with the reality of somebody's getting his whole face blown off.
Right.
And you don't have nobody to talk to about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't know how to process that.
You don't know how to process
so
that.
what is the process though? Is you go from baby, toddler to adolescence to teenager to adulthood, right? Am I correct?
That's supposed to be the natural process.
But when you experience trauma, that developmental hierarchy is disturbed.
It's disturbed. It's shooken up.
That's why you see grown men, coming from prison, man. You know, they've been locked up a long time. Their bodies, they done took care of their bodies. They look refreshed and this and that. You know, they look like grown men. But as soon as they start a conversation, realize they're underdeveloped. They're kids.
Arrested development once again. And that's part of the trauma as well, because for you to take on that persona, to think somehow that's going to make you bigger than life or make you some individual that you're going to be viable in the overall society, because prison is a parallel world to the real world.
Right.
So a lot of the things that you have in there, they're useless in this world.
Right. Exactly.
You know, all the bulking up and bit, you know, I mean, okay, you want to be healthy, I understand that, but for you to come out here and still have that level 4 look and be walking, people gonna look at you like, man, something wrong with him. What's wrong with him?
Right.
You know.
But it gets even deeper than that.
Okay.
Man. We talking about social adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
You can't lock a person in a box, in a concrete box, for 20-something years, and then release him into society and expect him to operate like a normal human being. You're not realistic if you think that that's possible. That's why, like he was talking about, institutions have to be established for people making that process back in. Just like children need a rites of passage to get them from adolescence to adulthood, we need a rites of passage coming out of prison back into society, because you don't hear the sound of a woman's voice in prison. You don't hear the laughter of a child. I remember when I first got out of prison, man, I was sitting at the halfway house on Butler, man, and King, right?
Right, okay.
And we're on the dark side one. I'm looking around like, man, me and my roommate, we from Hoover, and I'm over from Paru, and we in the hood, we in 9-0s or something like 40. No, we was in 40s, man. And neither one of us was welcome there, right? Neither one of us was welcome there. But me and him is talking because we fresh out, and we hear a dog bark. And we both run to the doggone window like children for the first time seeing the carnival. You know, we ran.
That was something you had missed?
A dog barking. In years, we have not seen or heard a dog bark. Something that you take for granted every day. You see?
You're definitely not. Like I said, you're definitely not hearing no dogs bark behind the wall.
You're not hearing no dogs bark, bro. Where you gonna get a dog bark?
You barely even see a bird, right?
You see what I'm saying?
Definitely need a program, even like a drug addict.
So do we need a socialization program?
We need all type of programs.
Program of recovery.
We need recovery programs, man. Yes, because we got, like I said, you got a lot of people that are incarcerated because of post-traumatic stress. and then you letting them out of prison with post-traumatic stress on top of the post-traumatic stress that sent them to prison to begin with.
So would it be fair to say a lot of people that's incarcerated is misdiagnosed when they're incarcerated based on you locking people up?
Can't say it again. They do diagnosis. They're not misdiagnosed, because to be misdiagnosed, they indicate that there has been some type of help extended to see to their needs. There's been no help extended to see to their emotional, psychological, or any type of need like that. They haven't been diagnosed.
Well, we already know that society already knows that the mental health, is a big issue.
So what needs to change amongst us, amongst the tribes? Give me that. Give me something on that.
We have to change the language. You know what I mean? We have to, somehow redo these labels.
Right.
Yeah, we have to redo these labels. You know what I mean? Stop accepting these labels that was inflicted on us.
Labels are sticky, Raymond.
Labels are sticky, and they never tell the whole story. You know what I mean? Like lazy.
I think
how black people are lazy. If anything, we are, they're tired, unmotivated. Why are they unmotivated?
Exactly, because
they live in a society that's systematically designed to suppress their aspirations and their humanism.
Right.
So yes, that will make you unmotivated.
But here's my thing, though. This has always been here.
Yeah.
We've always been dealing with this oppression and suppression. That didn't stop us from building Black Wall Street.
Right.
No, man. Right. What it took is for us to actually come into our own. One, let's take our children back. It's easier to raise strong children than it is to repair broken men.
True.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What we're talking about all the time when we talk about assisting our communities is to go back and repair broken men. The reason why I youth mentor is because they're still in the process of development right now. You know what I'm saying? They can be shaped into something. Not only that, they're the future.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So if you want to begin with
Say it
change,
again. It's easy to do what?
It's easier to build strong men than to repair broken ones. When we talking
build
about
strong children,
bring strong children, into strong men or strong adults, not just men, women too, into strong adults, than it is to repair broken ones. What we do is we spend a lot of time trying to repair broken adults that are stuck in or identified in their brokenness.
Also, explain the second part of the village, the child in the village. Explain that.
It takes a village to raise a child. Invite the youth in, or they'll burn the village down. The second part is if you exclude, because what we do in this society is criminalize the youth. The youth have always been criminalized in this society because the youth that represents the future has always been a threat to white supremacy, period. So the youth have always been the target to any type of suppression and oppression. So if we do not include the youth in what we do socially, their opinions, their dreams, their aspirations, their voices. If they don't have a voice, give them a voice. Learn to, teach them to find their voice. We got to put the energy into our children that are necessary to keep us afloat in the future. Because us old heads, man, look at these grays in my beards. I ain't got much time, and I've done so much dirt.
Right, we 60, we probably ain't gonna see another 60.
The poison. Like I said, if you get bit by a snake or you get struck by a scorpion, they need to know what type of poison it was so that they can use the treated poison from that venom in order to cure you. If we know that gangs was a poison in our society, then it's going to take treated gang members to go back and become the cure for our society. It's not going to take nobody from Yale, it's not going to take nobody from Howard, Princeton, or any of these type of universities to come in and to dictate or offer a healing to a disease that they have no knowledge of, or a disease that they have no relation to. It's going to take us that are retreated, people that say we've gotten ourselves together. Me, I ain't got all my stuff together, but every time I go and talk to a youth, I'm able to deal with my own traumas, because I have to take them through my traumas to get them to understand the trauma that they're going through. So every time I go through this, it is a continuous cycle for me, you see. So any of us who are getting out of prison you know, and you got your life together, man, give back in some type of way, even if it's your own child. You know, not everybody can go out and talk to people's children because they got to get their own
If
stuff.
there was anything you wish to change around our people that you think that would be significant, that would be just essential to our growth and development, to be successful in this society, what is the one thing you would like to change about our people that would help us just head in a direction that we need to be headed in?
To become more, to become independent enough to at least establish our own political party.
Yes.
That would be a start.
Yes.
You know, until we have our own political party, and I know that's a whole process and there's a lot of things that have to go into that. That means we have to have our own financial institutions, you know, to support them, our own educational institutions and, you know, things and so forth. You know, it's a series of institutions that's going to have to go into developing that. But until we have that, we can never sit at the table and negotiate power.
Are the people that's calling themselves so quote unquote politicians or political leaders within the black community, because I think they by proxy, myself self-appointed themselves, because we're the only people that have leaders.
Right.
Are these people, do they have our best interests? Let me put it point blank.
They usually don't, because they were appointed by the oppressor.
Yeah, exactly. And we're the only people, man, that got celebrities as our leaders, man. Celebrities aren't leaders, man. Football players and basketball players and actors.
Stay in your lane.
Man, come on, man. Yeah, we got Jay-Z telling me who to vote for. Man, rap. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about we need real leaders who that's their whole life is dedicated to the development of our people. We were talking about institutions.
Right.
We got institutions. We just need to unify our institutions and make them independent.
Well, institutions that are true
institutions. Yes.
You know, institutions that house our aspirations and advance our interests as a people.
As a people.
See, because when we start talking about that, you know, most like black people, mostly old heads, where you trying to sow division. You already divided.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
No, you know
what I mean? Integration was a smokescreen.
Yes.
That was never intended to be except that was intended to discourage the self-determination and the establishment and building of our own institutions. You bring up Black Wall Street. That's one of our greatest achievements. Why did they attack Black Wall Street so hard? The same reason they attack any great achievement that would represented self-determination.
It was a threat to white supremacy and their rule and their domination.
It's a threat now. If something like that,
because look at it like this, Raymond.
They would attack it even harder.
Look like this. In Berlin, Germany, when Jesse Owens took the track and field, he dominated it.
Right.
When Jackie Robinson became baseball player, he dominated. When we'll use Wilt Chamberlain, Lou Alcindor, when they took in basketball, Bill Russell, they dominated. Tiger Woods became a golfer. He dominated.
Right.
Serena and Venus Williams sisters became tennis players. They dominated.
Right, but
these people know these things that when we get a hold of something, we dominate it.
This is what I mean by history, just real quick. John Smith, the whole Pocahontas story, he described the indigenous people that he ran across when he got here. And the description of these people was that they were tall, swarthy, meaning dark, you know, like the Ethiopians, and athletic. He said they run fast and jump high. Who does that sound like? That don't sound like no modern day Native American.
But they
that sound like us.
Yeah,
you know, so we've been that, man.
They can accept individual
we've been that stuff,
displays of excellence and achievement. What they cannot accept is excellence that can be organized in institutions that are built to rival theirs. What's going to happen when we don't have to go to them for financial support? We have our own institutions, our own banks,
forget us being
our
able
own
to jump.
schools.
What we need to do, man,
our own
schools, our own political institutions. Forget all that stuff, man. We're our own.
So is Umar Johnson right? I'm just going to bring him up.
He has a point, but He's using a tactic that is already being used in America, has learned to absorb it. That was Malcolm's role. He shocked black people and scared them at the same time, you know, because we were still under this illusion, you know, of freedom. We thought, you know, we had been freed, and we thought because we didn't have the shackles and the plantations had been dismantled, you know, that we were free. But no, they just took the shackles off our arms and off our legs and put them on our minds.
Of course.
You know,
I know, man, we were talking about, like I said, we get to talking about all these institutions and all of these politics, man. The fear has always been our own personal independence. And that's what bothers me. We don't take the time to be independent. We don't want that independence. We are too busy trying to be a part of. You see, and that's where our problem is. We kick, we beg, we crawl to be accepted and to be a part of. And what that does is that takes away from our own individual greatness.
Deeper question, man.
We can put all of this stuff together.
Why do our people feel so passionately about the slave master's religion? Why do they hold on it?
That's part of the brainwash. Yeah. You know, they've been indoctrinated and they've been brainwashed. And see, and those of us, educators, leaders, those few that we have, because we have a few, you know, but they try to beat down our leaders and then replace them with leaders that they've chosen. Will have to be, you know, compassionate. You have to treat them like sick people, man. They've been indoctrinated and they've been brainwashed. It's fear. To answer your question, it's fear.
Yeah. And we're talking about religion. Let's look at, man, it ain't just, it's farther than that, man. Religion is deeper than that. Why we got on Nikes?
Okay.
Where is our culture and where we dress? Does this reflect my culture? Does this reflect if I'm saying
we certainly made them rich though?
It does not.
We made them rich though.
Yes, that's my point. So this is what I'm saying.
To the degree we're standing in line.
Bro, it's beyond religion. This is what I'm saying. It's we have lost ourselves.
Religion was just a tool.
It's just a tool. We have lost ourselves completely in the whole idea of white supremacy. We are engulfed in it to the point where we don't know what we are if we don't have it.
Religion was just a tool, though it was a very effective tool.
Still effective.
To indoctrinate and enculturate white supremacy.
Two things I can say about Jewish people. And they believe this across the board. 100%. They believe in Judaism and they believe in the Holocaust. They believe that across the board. Black people, however, we believe in Hebrew Israel, Christianity, Muslim, Islam, conscious community. We believe in so many different things.
It's no accident though. And what I'm saying is we have to look at the trauma, as he likes to do, instead of looking at the symptoms, because we can talk about the symptoms all day
long, man.
You know what I mean? We can talk about how the trauma is manifested, you know, from the indoctrination and the brainwashing. But until we can get to the trauma, then that's always going to be. Yes, they because we are trying to find something to identify with. Everything except African. You know?
Tradition and culture bleeds into our identity. Tradition and culture bleeds into our identity. Now, if when I say that, it covers the ground of everything. Even when you use tradition and culture, that teaches you how to be a man to your wife. You wonder why we have the highest divorce rate, or women, you know, aren't married, and men, you know, are just why we represented the way that we are. You see what I'm saying? It's because we have no tradition and we have no culture to guide us into identity. You know, so a man don't know, this boy don't know how to be a father because he ain't never had a father around him, you know, to teach him what it was to be a father. But he know what the all of the negative stuff about
Just
his father
like
because of what he heard. You know what I'm saying? You just like your daddy.
Like
that
young women
nigga
don't
no
know how to
good.
be
That
mothers
nigga, you know what I'm
and
saying?
wives
Yeah.
because they didn't have
Because-
father figures
yes,
in the house
she-
Not only
that taught
that,
them.
It's all the way around,
they
bro.
take, when they call themselves being right, usually self-righteous, they take their examples from the dominant culture.
Yeah.
They don't know how to, first of all, they don't know how. If you ask the average black person, to define their spirituality, they can't define it apart from the Judeo-Christian definition of spirituality. So what does that tell you? That's indoctrination and brainwashing. You know what I mean? They've been indoctrinated and brainwashed, and it's so deep that they can't even relate to God without putting a white man between them and God in order to be the mediator between them and God.
Yeah, because you can ask black people, you can ask just everyday black people, who are you? And the minute they start telling you their name or they start, it's like they're incapable to use adjectives to describe, who they are. You know what I'm saying?
Who they are as an
But wait,
individual, as a
I'm
people.
glad you said that because we call ourselves black. Black is an adjective. A noun is a person, place, or thing. An adjective is a description of a noun. So, are we black?
By the outer appearance, people, it's like it's a construct. It is a construct.
That's
It is
what
a
I'm saying. It's an
construct.
adjective, bro.
But
It's
it's not a fact.
we cannot
Right.
identify ourselves
Right.
as an adjective
Right.
if we're not even a noun.
Right.
If I'm not even a person,
Right.
how can I demand the rights of a person
so
or
now
you
we
to
get
acknowledge
to-
me as a person if I haven't even identified myself as such?
Now
Right.
we get down to the Moors argument. We go back and forth with Dubai. On Facebook, So what's our nationality?
That's what the
We
foundation
don't
is
have
about.
We don't have one.
You do. Yes, you do.
Right, well,
yes, you do.
we don't have
What
That's
is
the
it?
thing.
Tell me.
Yes, you do. But you have to do your own genealogical research.
Okay.
Now, I ain't talking about no swap on the blood.
Right.
I'm talking about, man, go out there, find your family's social security number. All you need is names, social security numbers, military records,
I
death
traced mine
certificates, birth
back
certificates.
4 generations
4
Okay.
generations where?
to Mississippi, Honey Island.
Exactly. There's a tribe of Indians called Mississippians. That's where the word Mississippi comes from. If you go back, you're going to find out that you probably
I have
never
native
left
blood.
Mississippi.
Now,
Now, let
my
me tell
people
you
come
something
from
else.
Honey Island.
This country had 500 nations on it. How do you get 500 nations on the continent of America? Because every Indian tribe was classified as a nation by law, by United Nations. If you was to identify with your nationality, Cherokee, Choctaw, Black, all of that, this is why they have federal recognized. They got to federally recognize you because with that recognition, you get human rights violations.
And land.
And
You got land, you get-
and you
yes.
get reparations and all of that
Ownership.
stuff Malcolm was trying to get to the UN.
Ownership.
You get, that's where your nationality is.
The
I'm
wealth
a
of this
Choctaw
country-
Indian.
Okay.
That's my nationality.
Okay, now I'm gonna pose the question like I posed it to my loved one because he been banging us with this.
I'm not a Moor.
Right? No, I'm not identifying you as that at all. But what I'm saying is my brother had a good argument.
Yeah,
I always thought he had a great
It
argument.
is a great argument.
You know what I mean? But here's my problem though. If we do the research and we go back and we define our nationality and all of this and we upheave all this truth. Okay, what do we do with that? How is that going to translate to us uplifting the masses of our people and being able to sit at the table and negotiate power so we can build our own nation in our own image and
Okay, I can answer that.
Yeah.
Identification. We go back to identification. If you are, here's identification sways perception.
right?
Right? If you tell me that I don't have a nationality, that you stole me from somewhere in another continent across the ocean, and they say, well, where? I don't know.
Right.
So what does that do for you as far as your perception of the world?
Right.
You don't have a belonging.
identity. Right.
You don't have an identity.
Right.
You are an alias, nothing person. You
Right.
are nothing.
So you spend your whole life
You spend
searching.
your whole life searching, trying to figure out who you are.
Right.
And then I come along and I say, bruh, You didn't come from across the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
You've been here for thousands of years. You built them goddamn pyramids in Mexico.
Right.
Hundreds of thousands of years. You were the very first people on this continent.
Right.
Now your perception changes.
Right.
Now you're looking at the land and you say it's mine.
Right.
Now you're looking at these monuments and you say these are mine. Now you look at this white man and you say, man, who the fuck are you again?
So do we kick him out?
Perception, man. You start looking at him as a colonizer instead of looking at your goddamn self as a doggone alien in your own land. Cut him out. Martin Luther
This
King
is why
said.
it's important that we have these dialogues. I just want to jump in the frame a minute and show that Professor Melly Mill is building relationships and establishing rapport.
Right.
Because you're from a tribe in Compton, you're a tribe out in Pacoima, right?
Right.
I'm from Compton as well, but I just want people to understand that these videos and these talks help build relationships to where we can come together and have these discussions and be brilliant about what we're saying and not just be talking from the side. I want to shake your hand on that, and I want to shake your hand on that. Good job.
At some point, somebody has to catch on, or at least plant a seed so somebody can catch on and translate it into a movement.
Man.
Yes, I agree.
Because every significant movement, that had an inkling of a chance to liberate the masses of black people as a whole. Because see, I always say liberate the masses because that's the key. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways, they'll easily throw bones to the middle class. Right. And they'll look at such and such. He's a doctorate or he's a this and that. And they'll try to point to those, as examples of who we can be. Right, But what did they have to sell out?
We didn't set that up though.
Exactly.
As an example of us,
Right. But anytime there's been a movement, you know what I mean, that has threatened to affect and uplift the masses of black people, like a
Marcus Garvey, a Paul Robeson, or Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That could have spread it, or that mentality, or that institutional thinking could have spread it across America. What effect do you think that would have had on mobilizing and uplifting the consciousness of black people?
Why do you think nobody know about it now?
Because they don't
how
want you
many
to know
people
about
don't know about Tulsa?
They crushed it.
They don't know that we had a bank, an actual Negro bank, hospitals,
airport,
they don't know that.
Banking system.
You see what I'm saying? We had all of that stuff, man. But this stuff is not taught to us. It's not taught to us.
Yeah.
And Tulsa, Oklahoma wasn't the only one. It was another one in Carolinas. It was another one down by Texas. It was a whole bunch of them, bro. But we don't hear about this education because we got oppressors educating us. They dictate to us what we will and will not. Even to this day, do you know that the government considers it a national security to control information?
Yeah.
The control of information is considered national security.
Yes. Yeah.
So that means that.
That's why we really don't know whether to call it COVID-19 or coronavirus.
You don't know what. You don't know. I'm telling you, all your information,
question, which is an important one,
fed to you.
Dr. Umar, how you pronounce it?
Dr. Umar Johnson.
Dr. Umar Johnson, I believe he is right, and they're going to continue to criminalize him and to shut him up because they cannot allow him to be successful. And if he shows any inkling of success, they'll kill him.
That's why they did Fred Hampton the way they did him.
Right, yeah.
They killed all of our leaders.
They'll kill him.
But listen, man, we got a lot of dialogue. We got a lot of stuff to build on. We got a lot of stuff to reflect on. And there's going to be continuous videos, and we're going to continue to meet when it's often and convenient for all of us. And I want to continue to build on this platform. But once again, Professor Melly Mel, the Hood Postman, y'all know the vibe. What you like to say before leaving?
Man, just go down and support Tia Chuch's Trauma to Transformation program. You can find us on tiachuchas.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. And we got books there, man. It's a library and everything. What we specialize in is banned books. So Soledad Brothers and all of them type of books that you find, you know, they're right
Indifference
there.
to the government.
Indifference to the government. They got really banned books up in here. So we specialize in banned books, and our project, man, is to help youth with various traumas.
Right.
Also, you can find my book there at Tia Chucha's Serengeti Noise.
Right on, brother.
My first book.
Raymond, what would you like to
Right.
say?
And, you know, make sure you leave me with that information. You got to write
Yeah.
stuff down.
All right.
Because I'm getting up there in age, you know. I'm not going to
I will.
remember it, you know. But it's all about, you know, trying in little small ways if you have to start reaching the youth. Because when we look at this generation that's following us, it's not very inspiring. You know what I mean?
Right on, man.
If we thought we were lost, you know, look at them, man. They're afraid to be unique and different. That's why I like that your organization focuses on creativity.
Right.
I think that's a very important tool in our liberation.
Yes.
We need to, you know, inspire creativity amongst our youth, and hopefully it'll spread.
I appreciate that, Raymond. Look how beautiful this is, man. 3 negatives that have became positives, man. Imagine that, man.
Yeah.
Man, once again, Professor Melly Mel, the Hood Post, man.
Institution building.
You know the
That's what
vibe.
it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Institution building.
Institution building. You know.